This is Retro Sports Radio. Visit RetroSeasons.com for more sports history.
On October 8, 1967, the Boston Red Sox faced the St. Louis Cardinals at Busch Stadium for Game 4 of the 1967 World Series. The Cardinals led the best-of-7 series 2-1, and this is the NBC radio broadcast of Game 4, featuring announcers Pee Wee Reese and Ken Coleman.
386 feet to straightaway left and straightaway right field, and 414 feet to center field here at Busch Memorial Stadium. And I guess, Pee Wee, it's what the ball players would refer to as an honest ballpark.
It certainly is. There's nothing cheap about a home run in this ballpark. Of course, Fenway, they have the real short left field. But when you hit a home run in this park, you deserve it. And the wind is blowing out a little bit today. I think the ball to left field, Eddie Brassu, the shortstop, has played here at the Cardinals and also played with Boston, said that the ball carries better to left field and left center than it does to right field. And I was standing down there watching batting practice, and they were jumping out there pretty good in left field today.
And now let's go to the starting lineups, which are basically the same. For Boston, Jose Tartabull will lead off playing in right field. Dalton Jones will bat second and play third. Carl Yastrzemski is in left. George Scott will be in the fourth position in the batting order at first base. Reggie Smith is the center fielder batting fifth, had his first World Series home run yesterday. Jerry Adair will play second. Batting seventh and playing shortstop is Rico Petrocelli. The catcher, the veteran Elston Howard, and on the mound, Jose Santiago. Santiago started the series opener in Boston, losing 2-1 to Gibson. He worked 7 innings, allowed 2 runs, 10 hits, walked 3, and struck out 5, and accounted for the only Boston run in the game with a third-inning home run on an 0-2 count. He had 1 home run during the regular season. This is his second year with Boston. He has a record over those 2 years of 24-17. Jose is 6'2", 190 pounds, 27 years old, from Puerto Rico. Now for St. Louis. Lou Brock leads off, playing in left field, and he has been one of the key men in this series so far. Kurt Flood is in center field, batting second. Roger Maris in right field will bat third. Orlando Cepeda, who came up with a big hit here yesterday, his first hit in the World Series, will be at first base. Tim McCarver is working in back of the plate. Mike Shannon will be at third. Julian Javier is at second. Dal Maxville at shortstop, and Bob Gibson is on the mound. Right now, down below, for this tremendous crowd, which will be in the vicinity of 54,000 people, the Red Sox starting lineup is being introduced. Now, we told you about Santiago, so we move over now to Bob Gibson. He is 3-1 in World Series competition, and only one St. Louis Cardinal pitcher has ever won 4 series games, Harry Burkeen. Burkeen was 0-1 in 1943, 1-0 in 44, and 3-0 against Boston in 1946. Gibson has pitched 3 consecutive complete game victories in the series after losing his first series game in 1964 to the Yankees here in St. Louis, working 8 innings. And I think it's significant to point out his strikeout total in series competition. He has fanned 41 batters in his 36 series innings, with his strikeout totals per game at 9, 13, 9, and 10. His 31 strikeouts in the 1964 series set a record. So with more pregame color in just a moment. At first base, from the American League, Ed Runge. At second base, from the National League, Paul Pryor. At third base, John Stevens of the American League. Down the right field line, Frank Umont of the American League. And down the left field line, Al Barlick of the National League. The umpires have deployed to their positions. The conference's at-home plate over. And, of course, the managers are very familiar with the ground rules, which are really relatively simple here. Gibson has completed his warm-up throws, has gone back into the St. Louis dugout, and right now Santiago is on his way in from left field, where he has been warming up with Red Sox catcher Russ Gibson. A wonderful crowd on hand here today for the fourth game. Jose Carnival, who will lead off for Boston, has just come out of the dugout into the on-deck circle, although the St. Louis Cardinals have not yet taken the field, as Frankie Frisch, the Fordham Flash and one of the great ones for the St. Louis Cardinals years ago, a member of baseball's Hall of Fame, has just now, or is in the process right now, of throwing out the first ball for today's game. On the mound, taking his warm-up throws with his catcher, Tim McCarver. Orlando Cepeda's at first base. Julian Javier at second. Dal Maxville at shortstop and Mike Shannon at third. In left field is Lou Brock. In center, Kurt Flood. The right fielder is Roger Maris. McCarver throws the ball down to second. The infielders pepper it around. Third baseman Shannon turns it over to Gibson, and the big, strong right-hander is ready to go to work. And we're set for the first pitch of Game 4 in the 1967 series. Here is Pee Wee Reese.
Okay, Ken, thank you very much. Big Bob Gibson on the mound for the St. Louis Cardinals. They're trying to make it 3-1 in favor of the Cardinals game-wise here today. Tartabull takes the first pitch as ball one. That pitch is in there for call strike one. Bob Gibson has a real good fastball, good curveball. He can overpower you, as everyone knows in baseball. Here's the pitch. Tartabull tries to hit the ball in the left field. Line drive foul down the third base line. Gibson, as Ken told you, has won 3 games in series play. There's only one other fellow that's done that. That's Harry McCain. Tartabull hits a line ball, shot down to Cepeda, picks it up and puts it over to Bob Gibson coming first. Well, one away. That ball was hit hard. Cepeda down on one knee. He fumbles the ball, picks it up, goes over to Bob Gibson, and it's one away. And that brings up Dawson Jones. Gibson doesn't take too much time. He's looking down to Tim McCarver. Here's the pitch. A curveball, a little high and outside, ball one.
Pee Wee Dalton had 3 hits here yesterday, and he says he was just trying to hit that ball back up the middle until he gets a better feel of these pitchers.
Gibson's fastball is in there. Call strike one, 1 ball and 1 strike. Well, Ken, I haven't seen Dalton Jones too much, but what I've seen of him, I like this young fellow with that bat in his hand.
Very smooth.
Bob Gibson has the ball hit hard down the right field line. It's foul. Way back up in the stands. Jones looks like he's not swinging too hard. He just tries to hit the ball. Worst pitch, he'll hit it to left field, back through the middle. If it's inside, he'll pull it. Bob Gibson shakes his head. He's ready. Here's the pitch. That ball, jamming with the Gibson up with the ball. Flips the ball over to Cepeda. It's 2 up and 2 down here at Busch Stadium in St. Louis. Gibson, who is a very good fielder out there on the mound. It's hard to get a ball by. To bunt on him, it had better be perfect. Well, this brings up the great left fielder for Carl, by the name of Carl Yastrzemski. He holds his bat high. Gibson first pitch to the curveball. Inside for ball one. Gibson completely shackled Yastrzemski in the first game. Then he came back in the second game, got 2 home runs. They shut him out yesterday. Let's see what he does today. A curveball. And there for call strike 1. 1 ball and 1 strike. It's 2 away. We're in the first inning here at Busch Stadium. Ken Coleman and I'm Pee Wee Reese bringing you today's game. Another curveball. Base hit out into right field. Roger Maris over to cut that ball off. Down on one knee. The throw into Dow Maxwell, the shortstop, huffing back into first base. Yastrzemski. So that's his first base hit off Bob Gibson. And it brings up George Tater Scott, the big first baseman. George Scott lives down in Greenville, Mississippi. He's 23 years old. Another one of the fine young ball players that the Red Sox have. A fastball and a dandy in there for call strike 1. 2 away. Paul Yastrzemski on his first base. Bob Gibson, as I told you, does not take much time. McCarver giving the sign. Gibson set, looks over at Yastrzemski. Here's the pitch. Fastball in there for call strike 2. Just got that outside corner. Gibson really moves that ball around. He's in and out, up and down.
Scott was one of the few men who could stall Gibson the other day. He was 2 out of 3 against Bob as Bob struck out 10 at Fenway Park.
2 strikes on George Scott. He struck it out. And that's all for George Scott. And that's all for the Red Sox here in the top half of the first inning. So the score here at Busch Stadium, the Red Sox nothing, and the Cardinals coming to bat.
Has really done a job, and especially against Santiago in Game 1. And I'm speaking of the great left fielder of the Cardinals, Lou Brock, who is 6 for 12 in this World Series. Jose could not keep him off the bases in Game 1, so he's got to face that challenge here today.
Yes, sir, to control these Cardinals, it's a pretty good idea to keep Brock off of those tracks. Santiago into his windup. Here's the pitch. Brock taking all the way. It's low. Ball 1. 6 for 12. A cool 500. That ain't bad. Santiago on his warm-up. Here's the pitch. Brock looks like he wanted to bunt one. Took it. It's in there for call strike 1. We're in the bottom half of the first inning here at Busch Stadium. No score in this ball game. The Red Sox had 1 hit, and that was by Carl Yastrzemski. Coaching at first base for the Cardinals, Dick Stifler. At third base, Joe Schultz. Brock holds that bat straight up in the air. Santiago's pitch. Fastball is tapped down to third. Dalton Jones. It's a fair ball. The long throw. They didn't get it. What it looked like a routine play going down to Dalton Jones, and right at the last moment, that ball bounced to his right a little bit, and it just took that little bit more for Jones to get that ball to first base to George Scott, and Lou Brock beat it out. So now that brings up Kurt Flood. Lou Brock on at first. You better watch him. Santiago, the pitch. And Brock makes the bluff, and Elston Howard out in front of that home plate, ready to make the throw.
Santiago had Brock steal 2 times on him in the first game of the World Series, and Brock said he found a flaw in Santiago's delivery, but Scott said, the first baseman, that he just took off like nobody he'd ever seen.
Found the flaw, huh? Well, he has terrific speed. Santiago just threw over there, and I imagine he'll watch him rather closely. The fans are hollering, go, 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 and don't be surprised if he doesn't. He didn't on that pitch, right down in there for call strike 1. I imagine Kurt Flood taking the first 2 pitches. He's giving Brock a chance to run if he wants to. Flood checking with his third base coach, Joe Schultz. This Brock is an exciting ball player. He loves to run. He stole 52 bases during the regular season. Santiago watching him closely. Here comes the pitch. It's a fastball. It's Little low gets away from Elston Howard, and Elston looks like he was a little anxious to grab that ball, thinking that Brock may go. And Howard knows he has to grab that ball in a hurry and get rid of it. We're in the bottom half of the first inning. No score. The Red Sox failed to score in the top half of it. The Cardinals are at bat here now with the runner on at first base. The throw to first base. Back easily, Lou Brock. 2 balls, 1 strike on Kurt Flood. Waving that bat around. Let's watch. Santiago looks over here's the pitch. The base hit out into left field. Yastrzemski up the ball, and Flood will not try to go to third as Yastrzemski gets that ball back in a hurry, but he does move down to second. Brock does, and Kurt Flood is on at first. So Santiago, who got into a lot of trouble up at Fenway Park in the first game, is getting himself in a jam here, Ken.
I should say, as the first 2 Cardinals are on, Brock with the infield hit and Flood with a ringing line single into left field. And it brings to the plate Roger Maris, who drove in the 2 runs for the Cardinals in that first game 2-1 victory.
Roger Maris, who said this is as happy as he's ever been playing with this Cardinals. Going into pro ball. The first pitch he's taking all the way a curveball in there by Santiago. Strike 1. Brock down at second. Flood at first. And I don't believe you could find 2 faster men in baseball than are out there right now. Santiago checks Brock back at second. Looks again. Here's the pitch. Roger Maris gets the base hit out into left field. Here comes Brock in the score. Yastrzemski able to cut the ball off. Flood's going to score. Rounding third, coming into home. The throw into third base, and Maris is in the second with a double. Quickly, the Cardinals have scored 2 runs here in the bottom half of the first inning. As Brock, Flood, score on a 2-base hit by Roger Maris out into left field. It's beginning to drizzle just a little bit here at Busch Stadium in St. Louis. Orlando Cepeda is the hitter. He got a base hit his last time up yesterday. Santiago looks back at Maris. Cepeda hits a little lazy looper out into right field. Portable comes running. He comes up with it. Maris is tagging up. Here comes the throw. Can they get it? No! Cepeda, with no one out, the runner on his second base, trying to get Roger Maris over to third, hits the ball on the ground. To the right side, hits a fly ball that Carnival had to run a long way to come up with. Roger Maris surprised a few people. He tagged up and just barely made it.
Speaking of Roger Maris, Pee-wee, with the 2 runs batted in just now, he has a total of 5 runs batted in the World Series. The Cardinals have 9 runs. He's driven in 5 of them.
McCarver takes the first pitch, a curveball inside. The infield is pulled in. We're only in the first inning here at Busch Stadium. The Cardinals have already scored 2 runs. They have a runner on at third base. It's 1 away. And the big catcher, Tim McCarver, is up there. Gary Bell winding up for the Red Sox down in the bullpen. Santiago's pitch. That ball low and outside. Ball 2. The on-deck hitter, Mike Shannon, who hit a home run yesterday. McCarver backs out of there. Looks down at his coach, Joe Schultz, at third base. Maris on at third. McCarver crouched over that plate. Here comes the pitch. A fastball. Base hit out into right field. Roger Maris stepping on home plate for the third run. McCarver making the turn at first base and back in there. And that is the 4th hit for the Cardinals Cardinals here in the bottom half of the first inning. 3 runs on 4 hits. Well, let's see what happens. Brock got a base hit to start this bottom half of the first inning off. Flood then got a base hit. Brock holding on at second. Harris got a double out into left field, scoring both Brock and Flood. The first pitch to Mike Chen is a curveball, low and outside. Cepeda hit a fly ball in the right field. Maris tagging up, going to third. Then McCarver gets a single in the right, scoring Maris. And that brings up Mike Shannon. 1 ball and no strikes on him. It's still a 1 away. The pitch to Shannon, swung on and missed. Strike 1. In the series, Shannon has 4 hits. 1 of them a home run yesterday. Santiago looking down at his catcher, Elson Howard, waiting for the sign. Here is the pitch. Curveball, swung on and missed, pulled him a little bit. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Gary Bell still warming up in the bullpen for the Red Sox. Again, those 3 runs with Gibson pitching is going to be a little tough.
Yes, indeed. It's going to have to be a catch-up type of ball game from the Boston point of view.
Cannon throws his bat at a curveball. The shortstop, Petroselli, in foul territory, comes up with it. Little lazy looper out over third. And holding on at first base, Tim McCarver. And you just mentioned a good point there, Ken. The Red Sox had to play catch-up ball yesterday. That's a tough game to play. It looks to me like they're going to have to play it again today.
Well, during the season, when they had a 10-game winning streak, they had a similar situation to what the Cards have here today. They kept jumping out into quick leads. Now the Cardinals have that advantage in this one.
Javier is the hitter. Santiago's first pitch on a ground ball out to shortstop. Got the ball back. He got the ball. Everybody's safe. That ball was hit hard into the hole. Petroselli had to go over about 7 steps. He got to the ball. Had to cross over with his glove, knocked the ball down, but McCarver beats the throw to second base, so Javier gets the base hit, and that's the 5th hit. In this ball game, runners at first and second. Down Maxwell to hit a curveball, low and outside, ball 1. Javier, the only player to have 5 hits. Not the only player to have 5 hits, because Lou Brock has 6 hits. Has 7 now starting in the day's game. Now Maxwell. Makes that pitch inside ball 2. Santiago may be a little careful. Little shortstop here. Bob Gibson's the next hitter, the 9th place hitter, but he's not a bad hitter himself. Runners on first and second. Santiago. Look at the Howard. There's the ball. It's a base hit out in the left field. Yastrzemski may make it close. Here comes the throw. Elson Howard out front, and he beats the throw. McCarver does. To say about Javier, Javier is the only Cardinal to hit in every game, because Lombard only gave up 1 hit in that second game. And Javier had it. The Cardinals have really come on strong here in this bottom half of the first inning. With a count 2 balls and no strikes on Cal Maxwell. He lines one out in the left field, and Yastrzemski, as we've talked so much about, he charges those ground balls and the great arm that he has. I thought he may have a good shot at McCarver coming in the home, but McCarver beats the throw.
And Sal Magley, the Red Sox pitching coach, has gone to the mound, and they're going to make a change now, as right-hander Gary Bell, who was the starting pitcher here yesterday, will come on to do the pitching for Boston. In yesterday's game, Gary worked 2 innings, and he allowed 3 runs and 5 hits, one of them a home run. He struck out 1. And José Santiago, in this first inning, has pitched to 8 men. 6 of them have had base hits. 4 of them have scored. So he worked after working just 2/3 of an inning, he will leave, allowing 6 hits and 4 runs, no walks and no strikeouts. Bell has just finished a long walk-in from the bullpen and is talking now with Sal Magley and with Elston Howard. On the base hit, Maxwell went down to second on the throw. So the Cardinals have runners at second and third and nobody out, or 2 out rather, here in this first inning, as Bell now is starting his warm-up throws. Coleman with Pee Wee Reese at Busch Memorial Stadium in St. Louis, with 2 men out in the last half of the first inning. In St. Louis, they have 4-0. Gary Bell, who is pitched to Bob Gibson with runners at second and third. And once again, here is Pee Wee Reese.
Okay, Ken. And Bob Gibson, as we've said so many times, is not a bad-hitting pitcher. Gary Bell looking down at Elston Howard, and Elston Howard shaking that fist by saying, come on, we're still here. The first pitch, that ball low and inside. Bell started the game yesterday. He pitched 2 innings. He was a losing pitcher. He gave up 3 runs on 5 hits. Struck out 1 and did not walk anyone. The count right now on Gibson. 1 ball, no strike. Bell taking a little time. Elston Howard. They can't get together on the side. Here's the windup, the pitch. A bat ball in there for call strike 1. We're in the bottom half of the first inning. The Red Sox failed to score. The Cardinals have 4 runs. They're still not out of the inning. 2 away. Runners on first and second. Javier on his third. Maxwell on his second. Here's the pitch. Oh, popped up. Petrocelli, the shortstop. Going back, he calls for it. Yastrzemski calls for it and takes it on out number 3. So here's Busch Stadium, the bottom half of the first inning. The Cardinals score. The Red Sox, nothing.
A cloudy, cool afternoon with a temperature now about 55 degrees. Here's Pee Wee.
Bob Gibson, first pitch to Reggie Smith. Low and outside, ball 1. Smith wants to take a look at the ball. Donatelli. This crosses it out. Gives him a new one. 1 ball, no strikes on Reggie Smith. Leading things off for the Red Sox in the top half of the second inning. That pitch is outside, ball 2. Gibson. When he releases that ball, he puts everything into it, falls over toward first base a little bit. Here comes the windup. The pitch to Smith. Ball hit hard. If it stays fair, it's a home run. Just barely fouled on that right field line. Here's the fella. Slaps that ball around the left, back through the middle. You get it inside. He can hit it a long way. Here's the pitch to Gibson. Rounder out to Javier at second base. Up with the ball. Flips the ball over to Cepeda. It's all for Reggie Smith. Gibson will be tough today. Bob Gibson. Not a little fella. not a real big fellow. He's 6 feet 1.5 inches tall, but he's well put together. 195 pounds. Quite a basketball player. Gary Adair, first pitch to him. Fouled off the right, back up in the stand. Strike one.
Seaweed is a note on the scoreboard out here indicating that Lou Brock's 4 hits in the opening game made him the 6th Cardinal to do it. Others, Joe Medwick, Rip Collins, Dino Slaughter, Whitey Karowski, and Joe Garagiola.
How did Joe Garagiola get it? Glad to see that.
But you know, he did it in the World Series in Boston, and he said it was an amazing thing because it happened to be a day when Ted Williams did a couple of things pretty well, and he said he got very little publicity out of it, as a result.
Yeah. Well, I knew Joe had done that. That was bad to see. Gary Adair. Swings. No contact. 1 ball and 2 strikes on Gary. It's 1 away. We're in the top half of the second inning. Bob Gibson. Pitch to Adair. Curveball. Hot looking by Adair. So it's 2 away. That's the second strikeout by Bob Gibson. That brings up Rico Petrocelli. Gibson getting the sound from McCarver. The windup, the pitch, curveball, and a dandy in there for call strike one. Gibson in Boston started out with the fastball. Today he's throwing a lot of curves. Fastball just missed the outside corner, makes the count 1 ball and 1 strike. You'll see a pitcher do that quite often. Sometimes you start out throwing a lot of fastballs and throw curveballs the latter part of the game. The breaking pitch outside. All 2 and strike 1. The next game, you start out with curveballs and switch to fastballs. This fella can do it. A good fastball swung on and foul straight back. 2 and 2. The 4th game of the World Series here at Busch Stadium, and the Cardinals are out in front by a score of 4-0. The 5th one will be played right here tomorrow. Foul, straight back, and the count remains 2 and 2. It's 2 away. Petrocelli has good power for a little fella. Hit 17 home runs during the regular season. Defensively for the Cardinals, Cepeda at first base, Javier at second, Maxwell at short, Shannon at third, left field, Brock, center field, Flood, right field, Maris, McCarver catching, and the pitcher, Bob Gibson. He shakes his glove. Didn't want that one. He wants this one. Here's the windup. The pitch, curveball. Kind of fought it off, that's what he did. Hit it off the right. Cepeda going over near the stands. Way back up in there. 2-2.
Petrocelli had a great deal of trouble with Gibson in the first game in Boston. He struck out 3 times, all swinging, and then finally was lifted for a pinch hitter, which is something that doesn't very often happen. But he had a lot of trouble with Bob's motion. At least today he's getting on that ball a little bit.
The 2-2 pitch to Petrocelli. Curveball, moving. Started second swing, he went around, and that's all for the Red Sox in the top half of the second inning. The score, after 1.5 innings of play, the Cardinals 4, the Red Sox nothing. That started the game off. Lou Brock, here he is again. As Ken told you, 9 men batted in that first inning. Gary Bell's first pitch time. High and outside, ball 1. Cardinals in series play. They have been in 10. They've won 7. 5 of those 7 they won. Went to 7 games. They didn't lose to one of them. The pitch to Brock is popped up out into left field. Yastrzemski underneath it, taps his glove, takes it for out number 1. As we've said so many times during this series, You have to keep that Brock off of those bases. Once he gets on, everything starts to happen. He upsets the pitcher, infielders, catchers. He really moves. Kurt Flood is headed with one away. Gary Bell, first pitch to him. He bunts one, or tries to bunt one, fouls it straight back. Flood thought he caught Dalton Jones back a little bit at third base. One strike on him. Defensively for the Red Sox in the infield. Scott at first base. Second base, Jerry Adair. At shortstop, Petrocelli. Third base, Dalton Jones. One strike on Kurt Flood. Gary Bell in the windup. Here's the pitch. It's high and inside. One ball and one strike. Kurt Flood, a real good second place hitter. He can really handle that bat. Not only can he move the ball around, he hits over 330 during the season. The fastball inside, ball 2. The Cardinals have 4 runs on 6 hits. Red Sox, no runs on 1 hit. The temperature here at Busch Stadium, about 54 degrees. It's an overcast day. Rather chilly. Here's the pitch. Flood popped it up. George Scott, the first baseman, underneath it and takes it for out number 2. So Gary Bell finding things a little bit easier than Santiago did, who started this game. Santiago pitched 2/3 of an inning, gave up 4 runs on 6 hits. Roger Maris, who's had a good series, the batter, he doubled in the first inning, driving in 2 runs. There's a fastball with outside the gas. Remember, fans, Ken Coleman and I will be right back here again tomorrow to bring you the 5th game of this World Series. Hope you can be with us. Bell's pitch to Maris, curveball in there for call strike 1. Maris now has 4 for 12. 5 runs batted in. Maris, a big left-handed hitter. Gary Bell's pitch to him. A right-up pitch is high and outside. Ball 2. You try to keep the ball away from Maris. Get it inside. You can pull it out of here, out of any ballpark. He keeps moving that bat. Now he's set. Gary Bell's pitch to him. Back ball. Jammed him a little bit. Gets this with the coach at first base. Gets a nice hand as he comes up to the ball. 2 balls, 2 strikes. On Roger Maris. I believe Bell looks a little bit better today than he did yesterday.
Yes, he does. And oddly enough, our second pitcher yesterday was Lucy was the best one. It seems to be a matter of timing involved here.
He's taking the wrong pitcher. The 2-2 pitch. To the ground, and George Scott will take it himself. He walks over and steps on the bag, and that's all for the Cardinals here in the bottom half of the second inning. The score here at Busch Stadium, the Cardinals 4 and the Red Sox nothing. For the Red Sox, Elton Howard, the first pitch to him. He takes it in there for call strike 1.
Well, as we mentioned, the Red Sox now have to play catch-up, and with Gary Bell due next, Joe Foy is on deck.
Elton Howard pops one up. The fade in foul territory down at the first baseline. Takes it for out number 1. Joe Foy. Pinch hitting on the pitcher, Gary Bell. Gibson, first pitch to him. Curveball in there for call strike 1. Well, that's what happened, as Ken and I have said. Here's the pitch to Joe Foy. Swung on and missed, strike 2. When you're playing catch-up baseball, even though Gary Bell has looked real sharp, you got to use that pinch hitter. Try to get back in this game as the Red Sox trail 4-0. The 0-2 pitch to Foy. And it didn't take long for Gibson to get rid of Foy. A real good fastball. He swung on and missed it for out number 2. don't believe, Ken, I've ever seen a pitcher work this fast as Bob Gibson does.
He really works fast both ways. In throwing the ball and in working.
Jose Cardinal, the little right fielder. Here is the pitch. Cardinal looking at it like he wanted to bunt it. Takes it for strike one. Cardinal does not have a hit in the series. Curveball. Outside. Ball one. We're in the top half the third inning. Here at Busch Stadium in St. Louis. Cardinals 4. The Red Sox nothing. Swing and miss. Strike two. 1 ball and 2 strikes on Cardinal. It's 2 away. Bob Gibson. He doesn't give that hitter a chance to think. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Here's the pitch. Curveball hit out to Cepeda, the first baseman. Says, I'll take it myself. And that's all for the Red Sox here in the top half of the third inning. So after 1.5 innings of play, it's still the Cardinals 4 and the Red Sox nothing after third inning. The new pitchers, Jerry Stevenson's first pitch is in there for call strike one. Cepeda. Hit a fly out into right field to Cardinal his last time up. Maris tagged up and went third on it. There's a big hit out in the left field. Should be in there for extra bases. Yastrzemski takes the ball off the wall. Here comes a long throw. Cepeda in at second base with a stand-up double. Well, Ken, a lot of the players on the Cardinals said that little base hit, or not a little base hit, that 2 base hits Cepeda got his last time up. Yes, he may be just what the doctor ordered.
Well, Orlando had been in a slump through most of September and had a lot of trouble getting base hits in this World Series. He'd gone 0 for 10 until he got that double yesterday. And now he bangs out his second double of the World Series, getting his second hit. He's 1 for 2 today as Tim McCarver now faces Jerry Stevenson.
Tim McCarver will try to get this ball on the right side of the infield. It gets Cepeda over to third. No one out. Here's the pitch. Curveball. Good triple. Foul tipped it back against the screen. Again, talking about Cepeda. Had that late season slump with only 161. Last 19 games, 10 for 62. Seemed like he just quit after they cinched the pennant, I guess, yeah.
Well, he helped them cinch it. He was a great player for the Cardinals all season long.
Yes, he did. McCarver takes the fastball just inside. 1 ball and 1 strike. Yes, sir, that big fella down at second base, they call him the Bull. He certainly did have a great year. They say he has been the leader for the Cardinals. Jerry Stevenson pitched to McCarver. He did put it, but it's foul down the right field line. The count is now 1 ball and 2 strikes on McCarver. We're in the bottom half of the third inning. The Red Sox have no runs on 1 hit off Bob Gibson. The Cardinals have 4 runs and 7 hits. The 4 runs came off Santiago in the first inning as he pitched 2/3 of an inning. Jerry Stevenson shakes his head to Elston Howard. He's ready. McCarver fouls one off the left. No chance by Howard R. Dalton Jones. And the count remains 1 ball and 2 strikes. They're playing McCarver just about straight away. Yastrzemski. In fact, he's a little bit more toward the left field line. McCarver hits the ball out in the left field occasionally, especially with 2 strikes on it. A 1 and 2 pitch to McCarver. Bounces out in front of the plate. Elston Howard cannot come up with it. And there goes Cepeda to third. A wild pitch by Jerry Stevenson. Cardinal ball club can move on those base paths. Of course, they've had a lot of opportunities today. They've had a lot of men on. The Red Sox have not had a chance. They have a good fastball club. The infield has drawn in with a count of 2 balls and 2 strikes on McCarver. No one out. Here is the pitch to McCarver with the faded third. There's a high fly going out to center field. Reggie Smith, who has a good arm, he's underneath the ball. Here comes the throw, but they should not be able to get McCarver. The throw is off to the right. Elton Howard up with the ball. He throws the bag, the ball to Jones. At third, I thought they may be going over to tag third on the appeal play, but McCarver had plenty of time. There was no use rushing. They had plenty of time down at third, because that ball was pretty deep. Out to Reggie Smith. Mike Shannon's now the hitter. It's 1 away. The Cardinals now lead 5-0. 1-0 is the count on Mike Shannon. Shannon played right field in the 1964 World Series. Fastball. Low. Ball 2. Two balls, no strikes on Mike Shannon. Jerry Stevenson taking a little time. Elton Howard getting his shot. In the windup, Stevenson. Fastball, low and outside, ball 3. Shannon checks with Joe Schultz, the coach at third base. And the Cardinals have completely dominated this game. So far, Bob Gibson has given up 1 hit. And the Cardinals have scored 5 runs. A 3-0 pitch. Shannon taking all the way. It's right down in there for call strike 1. Shannon has 4 for 10 in the series. Right down on the end of that bat. Elton Howard giving it a sign. Jerry Stevenson in the windup. Here's the pitch. Foul ball off the right, back in the stand. 3-2 now. George Scott at first base. Jerry Adair at second. Petro Selly at shortstop. Charlton Jones at third. Jerry Stevenson, the third pitcher for the Red Sox. Santiago, Gary Bell, and now Jerry. Here's the 3-2 pitch. Fastball high and inside. Ball 4. That'll bring up Julio Javier. Got a base hit his last time up to the shortstop, Petroselli, who had to go in the hole, knocked the ball down, could not throw anyone out. Javier has had a base hit in every game. He got the only hit off Big Jim Lombard. Lombard picked that 4th hitter up in Boston. Donatelli calling time. The umpire behind home plate is Javier. Takes his glasses off. Cleaning. 1 away. They like to hit and run. Mike Shannon on at first base. Jerry Stevenson flips one over to George Scott. We'll keep it there on Shannon. Jerry Stevenson checks the runner at first. Here's the pitch. Fastball, low it outside, ball 1. Javier looking for a sign. The right fielder, Tardebo, not too deep. Because he knows if Javier does hit the run, he'll try to hit it into right field. There's the ball hit. The third ball out of the left field. Yastrzemski over to cut the ball off. Mike Shannon rounding third. Here he comes in to score. The throw into third. Shannon steps on home. And Javier is second with a stand-up double. Javier. Line Line one over the bag. Past Dalton Jones out into left field. And Mike Shannon going all the way from first base. As Yastrzemski could not trap that ball out in left field. It took kind of a funny bounce out there. And the time he got to it, Mike Shannon scored easily. So we have Javier down at second. Just one away. The score, Cardinals 6. The Red Sox nothing. Al Maxwell the batter. In there for call strike one. Javier now has 6 for 12. Maxwell got a base at his last time up. Bottom half of the third inning, Jerry Stevenson pitched to Maxwell. Curveball. Moved him a little bit, strike two.
And now Pee Wee down in the Boston bullpen, Dave Moorhead has started loosening up.
We've seen 3 pitchers for the Red Sox, and now a 4th is warming up. 2 strikes on Maxwell. A little ground out to shortstop. Petroselli up with the ball over to George Scott to retire Maxwell. Moving over to third is Javier. But we must say, one of the pitchers looked real sharp. That was Gary Bell. Bob Gibson's a hitter with 2 away. Runner at third. Javier. Here's the pitch by Jerry Stevenson. Now straight back, strike one. The Cardinals scored 4 big runs in the first inning, and they have scored 2 in the bottom half of the third inning for their 6 runs. They have 6 runs on 8 hits. Eckmont made an error, and the Red Sox no runs on 1 hit. They have not made an error. Look out, Bob. Bob Gibson. If the fans got to say something about it, that I don't believe that meant anything. 1 ball and 1 strike on Bob. It's 2 away. Stevenson shakes his head because he's ready. Here's the pitch. It popped up out into center field. Reggie Smith underneath him and takes it and has it for the last out. So that's all for the Cardinals here in the bottom half of the third inning. They came up with 2 runs. So the score after 3 full innings, but it was going to have to call strike one. Dalton Jones, first time up. Hit one back to the big pitcher, Bob Gibson. 1 strike on Dalton Jones. The windup, the pitch. A foul, straight back, and the count is 2 strikes. Last year in the World Series, if you remember correctly, Baltimore Orioles and the Los Angeles Dodgers. The Orioles won it in 4 straight. That ball inside, ball 1. 1 ball and 2 strikes. The National League trying to win it this year. They lead 2 games to 1. Curveball. Dalton Jones just got a piece of it. Kept him alive. 1 ball and 2 strikes. A real good-looking left-handed hitter right here, Dalton Jones. Hard man to strike out. Here's a man that does it quite often, Bob Gibson. Right down into his foot. Gibson picks the ball up. Donatelli wants to take a look at it.
That one had to hurt, Pee Wee. Usually if it hits the fellow's foot in the box, it stays there. But the way Gibson throws with that velocity and the way Jones cut to the ball, that one's almost out to the mound.
I can hear the players on the bench now barking like a dog over there. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Dalton Jones. Ball hit hard, fouled on his first baseline. The count remains 1 ball and 2 strikes. Now that some of you fans tuned in a little bit late, the Cardinals got off their running start the first inning. They came up with 4 big runs. 2 more in the third. They lead this ball game 6-0. We're in the top half of the 4th inning. Carlton Jones pops it up out into short left field. Roadblock comes in, falls hard and catches. For out number one. So it's one away, and it brings up Carl Yastrzemski. He's 1 for 1 today. Here's what they say, as Yastrzemski goes, he'll go to Red Sox. Gibson looking down at McCarver. Here's the pitch to Carl. That call, it's outside, ball one. Here's a fellow that swings hard on every pitch. He really comes through. Gibson caught him almost not ready there. You have to keep watching this man. If he gets set and brings that ball in a hurry. 1 ball and 1 strike on Carl Yastrzemski here in the top half of the fourth inning, 1 away. He had 2 home runs in that second game up at Fenway Park. There's a fastball. That's a call, strike 2, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Trying to keep the ball away from Yastrzemski. But Gibson does move it around. Yastrzemski, but that's close stance. Here's the pitch. That ball high and outside, ball 2. Yastrzemski in the last 2 games of the season, he had 7 hits and 8 times at bat against the Minnesota Twins. Here's the pitch, the 2-2 pitch. The fastball outside, he fouls it off the left. He had 27 home runs at Fenway Park this year. He had 44 altogether, 17 on the road. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Bob Gibson. Here's the pitch. Little tap right back to Gibson. No trouble with it. Hits the ball over Cepeda. Yastrzemski hustling down that first baseline. Gibson and a couple of infielders started in like it was 3 outs. As they say, we're playing the old rule. 3 outs to an inning. George Scott. Let's see what he's done today. George Scott grounded out for second base and swings on the first pitch and fouls it back. Strike 1. George Scott struck out in the first inning. Third ball. In there for call, strike 2. Let's see how Gibson works on Scott with 2 strikes. No balls on him right now. Here's the windup. He's sidearm curveball way outside. That's the first sidearm pitch I've seen him throw all day. Now there's 1 ball and 2 strikes. George Scott pumping this bat. Here's the pitch. He struck him out. Donatelli said the ball hit in the dirt. McCarver starts over the dugout. Donatelli should come back here. Didn't catch that ball in the fly. George Scott just gets the piece of it, keeps him alive. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Bob Gibson in the windup. The pitch. Curveball. Ground ball. Shortstop. Foul shortstop out in the left field. Rocked up with the ball. He fumbles the ball momentarily. Scott makes the big turn back in there, though. So Scott, after striking out, gets himself a base and he's 1 for 2 today. This grounded out to the second baseman his first time up there.
Amazing thing to me about Bob Gibson is his control. He went into the 9th inning in the first game before he walked anybody. That game was 2 outs, as I recall, and today he hasn't come close to walking anybody again. Unusual for such a hard thrower.
That ball inside. Ball 1. That's true, Ken. You'd think as much effort as this fellow puts into the ball, and as far as he throws it, he'd be a little bit wilder. Real good control. 1 ball, no strike. Yastrzemski takes the pitch. It's too low. Ball 2. Once we have a fellow over here on our right. That threw pretty hard. Koufax said, I guess that is not as good as control as any pitcher ever had.
Yes, indeed.
But I saw him when he first started out, too. He was a little bit wild. But he worked hard. He became a control pitcher. One of the best. Yastrzemski. The 2-0 count. To Reggie Smith. Hit the ball to Cepeda. First base. Goes over, steps on the bag, and that's all for Reggie Smith. And that's all for the Red Sox here. The top half of the fourth inning. So after 3.5 innings of play, it's still the Cardinals 6 and the Red Sox nothing.
Pee-wee race.
Okay, kid. At the bottom half of the fourth inning, Lou Brock. The first pitch, ball hit hard out of the right foot. That's going to be an after extra bases. You'll have to hurry to get this one back in. Reggie Smith. He's holding the ball up in the air, and the umpire is saying that the fan touched the ball, so it's an automatic ground rule double.
It would have been an easy triple, Pee-wee, and maybe even more than that. He might have even had a shot at an inside-the-park home run. But a fan out there reached down and touched the ball. The ground rule states if that happens, it's a two-base hit. So Lou Brock, who is all the way to third base and might have challenged by trying for an inside-the-park home run, goes back to second.
That ball took a real high hop. That fence is how high, Ken?
10.5 feet high. Because we don't know how tall the fan was who reached down to touch.
I don't know how long his arms were. And he touched it, we could see it, because the umpire was right out there on top of it. And he saw it. Reggie Smith didn't even try to throw the ball. He just held the ball up in the air. Jerry Stevenson hits the first flag. Like he wanted to punch that ball, punch the ball out of first baseline. He took it at outside for ball one. First blood. He's 1 for 2. Got a thing on that big first inning. Lou Brock down at second base. Let's see if Bud tries to hit that ball to right field. After one Brock, he started to go. That's the Philly to shortstop. In back of him out there. Jerry Stevenson kept off the rubber. Elton Howard out to talk to Jerry Stevenson.
Brock is now 8 for 15 in this series. And, of course, when he gets on base, he unsettles the pitcher and the catcher. When he gets on second, he can up through the whole infield because the second baseman and the shortstop are constantly on the move, trying to keep him as close to the bag as possible. And Adair and Petrocelli have both been weaving in behind him.
He just takes a couple of steps away from those infielders. First blood, he hits the ball to right field on the ground. Jerry Adair up within second base, puts the ball over to George Scott, and he got the job done. He got Lou Brock over to third. So it's one away, a fly ball. Well, now score. Brock from third. And with Gibson from second. And it's remarkable, Ken, that a fellow hitting in that second spot to hit 330 and getting himself up on a play just like that.
Yes, it certainly is a tribute to the team play at Kurt Flood.
Roger Maris lines one. Foul down at first baseline. He's 1 for 2. Got a double. Their first time up, driving in 2 runs. Of course, that's always said that it was a team effort. But I think in the case of the Cardinals here, it's really true. Boys can really communicate with each other. What's that second base combination? Javier and Maxwell. Here comes Roger Maris. Takes the pitch inside. All 1 ball and 1 strike. Jerry Stevenson curved him. Talking about double play combination. Boston Red Sox have a dandy. And Petrocelli at short and Jerry there. A young fellow named Mike Andrews has played a lot of second base for the Red Sox. Very good. Jerry Stevenson pitched to Roger Maris. 1 on. Strike 2. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Roger. The infield is in. We're in the bottom half of the fourth inning. And the Cardinals lead in this game by a score of 6-0. Here's the pitch right there. Fastball high and inside. Ball 2. Gibson is not taking his lineup. He's watching Brock at third. He comes set. Looks over at Brock. Here's the pitch. Curveball inside. Elton Howard makes a nice save. Makes the count 3-2. The next hitter, Orlando Cepeda. He got a double his last time up. 3-2 the count on Roger. The Cardinals have 9 hits. The Red Sox have 2. Jerry Stevenson taking a little time. He checks Brock over third. The tapper, George Scott, looks Brock back. He runs right at Roger Maris, and Maris is going right back to home. But Scott tagged him. There's a high hopper to George Scott at first base. He wanted to make sure that Brock didn't come in. He's watching all the way, and Maris came right back to home and Scott tagged him.
Scott has great instinct at first base, and very often during the year with man at third, he would make that play even from a distance. That time, of course, Brock was not going, and he had a chance to run in and get Roger Maris, who, as you said, Pee-wee, was retreating toward home plate. Now Cepeda.
Cepeda hit a double to left his last time up. Jerry Stevenson takes a little bit too much time. Cepeda steps out of there. He'll move Brock down at third base. It's 2 away. Jerry Stevenson watching Brock. He's in his windup this time. Curveball going outside, ball 1. Brock has 52 stolen bases on the year. He stole 2 in the first game up at Boston. Stevenson, hit out to Dalton Jones by Cepeda. Over to George Scott, and that's all for Cepeda, and that's all for the Cardinals here in the bottom half of the fourth inning. So after 4 innings of play, it's still the Cardinals 6 and the Red Sox nothing. Here's a fellow who never played in the World Series, but been a pro for a number of years. Done a lot of now. It's been a pleasure working with him. Come on in. Kenny Coleman.
Thank you very much, Pee-wee. Jerry Adair ready to lead off in the 5th inning, and the first pitch from Gibson is taken low for ball 1. Adair in the 2nd inning was called out on strikes. He'll be followed by Petroselli, and then Howard is due up third. The outfield playing a step toward right. Gibson into the windup, and the veteran right-hander throws. The pitch is foul back, and the count is 1 ball and 1 strike. Adair hit .292 in his 89 games with Boston this year. The Cardinals jumped out with 4 runs in the first and got 2 in the third. They lead 6-0. The pitch is swung on and missed. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Gibson has struck out 4 and has not walked anybody, has given up singles to Yastrzemski and Scott. He has been in charge. The right-hander fires, ground ball, hit down to third, near the line. Shannon up with it, throws to Cepeda for the out. Adair is out on a ground ball. Shannon getting him at first base. With 1 down in the 5th, and the Cardinals ahead 6-0. Rico Petroselli is up. Right-handed batting shortstop. The pitch to him, high pop foul off the third base side, will be out of play. Amazing thing about Bob Gibson, since returning to action on the 7th of September after his July 15th injury, he pitched 6 times, including series games, with a 4-1 record. And his earned run average has been an incredible 0.97. Pitch is a curveball inside. The count on Petroselli goes to 1 ball, 1 strike. Most of the Red Sox hits by Yastrzemski and Scott came after 2 were out. The pitch gets away from Gibson. Count is 2 balls, 1 strike. Bob seemed to lose his balance coming off the mound. 2-1 on Rico. Cardinal outfield playing straight away for the Boston shortstop. McCarver hangs out the sign. Gibson throws, and the pitch is hit on one hop to third. Shannon with it. On to Cepeda. Low throw. Shoots out. Nice play by the first baseman. And there are 2 men out of the fifth inning. Cardinals leading 6-0. And Elston Howard is at the plate. The Cardinal outfield for Howard plays a bit toward right. Bobby Doerr coaching at first, and Eddie Popowski over at third base for Boston. Gibson into the windup, and the pitch. It is low and away, ball one. Bobby Doerr coaching at first base set a series record in 1946 for second baseman with 31 assists. Here's the pitch. High fly ball into right center field. No trouble for Flood. Waiting for it. He makes the catch, and the Red Sox in the fifth inning are down in order. No runs, no hits, and nobody left on after 4 1/2. It's St. Louis 6 and Boston nothing. And I believe he'll be coming on to catch. Right now, we pause 30 seconds for station identification.
The Red Sox have no run on 2 hits that made no errors. And the Cardinals have 6 runs on 9 hits that made no errors. We have a new pitcher and a new catcher. Mike Ryan is doing the catching, and the pitcher, Moorhead. I remember Ken Moorhead has a real good overhand curveball, doesn't he?
Yes, he does, Pee Wee. Of course, last year on the 19th of April, in the Patriots Day doubleheader in Boston, he hurt his arm. Had to go out to the minors. But Dave, in his major league career, had a no-hit game once and had to fight his way back from obscurity this year after starting the season with Toronto, and has been back with the Boston Ball Club from about halfway on through this season. McCarver leads off, and the pitch is an overhand fastball at the belt on the inside corner for a strike call. When Moorhead is firing, he can throw very, very hard. McCarver, a left-handed batter, backs off for a moment. Tim has singled to right field, scored the 4th Cardinal run in the first inning, had a sacrifice fly in the 3rd to drive in their 5th run. They're leading 6-0. Pitch is a strike call. 2 strikes on McCarver. Shannon is on deck, and Javier will be batting 3rd. This is the last half of the 5th inning. Cardinals had 4 in the 1st and 2 in the 3rd. Moorhead throws. Fastball outside. The count is 1-2. In the 3rd, Brock led off with an infield hit. Flood singled to left. Maris hit a 2-run double. McCarver banged a single to score Maris. And Maxfield drove home McCarver for the 4th run. There's a ground foul off the first base side. Still 1-2 on McCarver. The outfield plays the St. Louis catcher toward right. Mike Ryan working back at the plate. Pitch. Big curve outside. 2-2. The plate umpire, Augie Donatelli of the National League. At first base, Ed Runge of the American League. At second, Paul Pryor of the National League. John Stevens of the American League at third. Moorhead delivers. McCarver fouls it back out of play. Umpiring down the right field line, Frank Umont of the American League. Down the left field line, Al Bollock of the National League. The Cardinals with a 2-game-to-1 edge in the World Series, and leading here 6-0. The pitch, swung on a miss, strike 3 as Moorhead came in with high smoke to get McCarver, and that is the first strikeout by Boston pitching today, and Moorhead is the 4th hurler. Santiago went 2/3 of an inning, allowed 6 hits and 4 runs. Gary Bell went 1 1/3, allowed no hits, no runs. Jerry Stevenson went 2 innings, allowed 3 hits, 2 runs. The batter is Shannon. The pitch to him is swung on a miss, strike 1. Right-handed hitting third baseman has fouled to Petroselli and walked. Hits the curveball on the ground to second. Easy hop for A there. Throws the spot for the out. 2 out in the 5th. St. Louis leading Boston by a score of 6-0 as Julian Javier steps to the plate. He has now 6 hits in 12 trips in series competition, as he has 2 for 2 here today. An infield base hit in the 1st inning, and a solid single to left field in the 3rd. Mike Ryan hangs out his sign. Moorhead into action, and a pitch. Swung on and missed, strike 1. 2 out and nobody on in the last half of the 5th inning. On deck is Dal Maxfield. Javier calls time and now gets set in the right-hand batter's box. Slight crouch. The pitch to him, hit on the ground, foul. Joe Schultz, the third base coach, handling it. 2 strikes to count. Moorhead rubbing up the ball on the mound. 6 runs on 9 hits for St. Louis. No runs on 2 hits for Boston. Moorhead ready. The pitch. Third ball got him for call strike 3, and he sends him down in order in the 5th inning, striking out 2. No runs, no hits, and nobody left on. So after 5, St. Louis leads 6-0.
Home on a non-TV release, bringing you to the Busch Stadium in St. Louis. Going to the top half of the 6th inning. The Red Sox have no runs on 2 hits, and the Cardinals have 6 runs on 9 hits. Ken, come on in.
Okay, Pee Wee. Mike Ryan at the plate, standing in the 9th spot in the batting order. Young fella from Haverhill, Massachusetts. The pitch to Mike is taken low, ball 1. Ryan will be followed by Tarnable and Jones as Moorhead took over Elston Howard's spot. Bob Gibson into the windup. The pitch, swung on and missed. 1 ball and 1 strike. Ryan is a very fine defensive catcher for Boston. Pitch is foul back this way. 1-2. Is a member of a well-known athletic family in his native Haverhill. Pitch to him, he swings and misses, strike 3. Looks like he's trying to hold back and couldn't. So there's 1 out in the Boston 6th, and Bob Gibson has struck out 5 men today. In the Boston 6th inning. St. Louis ahead 6-0. Tarnable at the plate. The pitch to Jose is right called, hits the outside corner. Gibson will be 32 years old on November the 9th. Struck out 10 Red Sox last Wednesday. Pitch is a strike call. He has now allowed only 1 run in 14 innings. Gibson delivers inside and low. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Tarnable. 1 out in the Boston 6th. Pitch is foul back. 1-2. In 14 innings against the Red Sox in this World Series, Gibson has allowed only 1 batter to get to third. He didn't even stop there. That was Santiago, who hit a home run against him. 2 strikes. Gibson winds and throws. Tarnable fouls it out of play, drifting into the lower seats off third. 1-2. Tomorrow, Jim Lonborg will be on the mound for Boston. Pitched a brilliant 1-hit shutout in Game 2. Will be opposed by left-hander Steve Calder. The pitch, Tarnable throws one back up the middle. Grabbed back at second by Javier. Throw to first is not in time. It gets past the first baseman Cepeda, but no advance is made by Tarnable. So Jose Tarnable is on, bouncing one back up the middle. See, how I'm not sure whether that ball hit the meat hand of Gibson or not, but in any case, Javier did very well to stop it back at second and at least make the throw on to first.
I would say that Javier has impressed me. We've seen him make 2 or 3 real good plays. Of course, he had no chance of throwing out Carnival on that one, because he can really move. That ball was almost to the left of second base. He can really move.
1 out and 1 aboard now. Dalton Jones at the plate. The pitch is a strike called on the outside corner, knee high. Jones bounced out to the pitcher in the first inning, flied to left field in the fourth. The hit by Carnival was the third for Boston, all singles. Fly ball to left field, right toward Lou Brock. He comes in a few steps and makes the catch. Carnival down halfway, retreats to first base. 2 men out in the 6th inning. In both other situations involving Red Sox hits, they have come with 2 men out and nobody on. This time with 1 out, and Carnival got the base hit. Now there are 2 men out as Yastrzemski comes up. Carl has singled to right field and bounced back to the pitcher. 1 for 2. The pitch to him is outside for the ball. Yastrzemski now 4 for 13 in the World Series. Cardinals with a 6-0 lead. We're in the top of the 6th inning. The set by Bob Gibson and the pitch. Strike call, breaking stuff on the inside corner. 1-1. Gibson gets the sign from Tim McCarver. Right-hander goes to the belt. The pitch. Yes. Doesn't get it. 1-2. Roaring at the rip that Yastrzemski takes at that ball. Up in Boston, sometimes they say he changes the wind direction with that cut. Gibson ready. 1-2 pitch. Yastrzemski takes it low and inside. 2-2. 2 men out. Carnival on first base in the Boston 6th. St. Louis with a 6-0 lead. The pitch to Yastrzemski. Hit on the ground up the middle. Back at second goes the shortstop. Maxfield throws to Cepeda for the out, retiring the side. Good play by Dal Maxfield. Back at the bag at second. No runs, 1 hit, 1 left on. And so, after 5 1/2, St. Louis leads 6-0. The Cards. Dave Moorhead throws to him, and the pitch is inside, ball 1. Maxfield has singled to left and grounded out the shortstop. Right-handed batter. Moorhead throws. Ground ball hit down to Jones at third. Right at the bag. Throws to Scott for the out. 1 away. 6-0 St. Louis. We're in the last half of the 6th inning. You know, Pee Wee, that overhand curveball. Well, first, let's say that the hand here is for Bob Gibson, who has been brilliant again today. That overhand curveball of Moorhead, I think when you and I were kids, we used to call that a drop sometimes. And that's a pretty good one, too. Gibson takes the ball outside. This is the first time I've ever had a chance to see Moorhead pitch. He comes right over the top. Pitch to Gibson is a check swing ground ball. Foul past Dick Ziegler in the first base coach's box. 1-1 the count. Here's a curveball, a little bit like a fellow that I saw last night used to pitch for the Dodgers. And then the Carl Erskine, he came in over the top, and it really rolls off. Fastball is high, and the count goes to 2-1 on Bob Gibson. Bob has flied to Yastrzemski in left, and to Smith in center field. 2-1. Moorhead kicks and throws. The pitch is low and away. 3 balls, 1 strike. 1 man out, nobody on, last of the 6th. St. Louis got 4 in the first inning and 2 in the third. They lead 6-0. Gibson fouls it back. 3-2. Bob is a great natural athlete. Once played with the Harlem Globetrotters and went to Creighton University in Omaha on a basketball scholarship. No wonder he can can feel that position out there on the mound. Moorhead, 3-2 pitch to Gibson is outside and low. He lost him. With one out, the Cardinals have a base runner. That's the second walk allowed by Boston pitching. The first by Moorhead. One out and one on, and the batter is Lou Brock. Today is 2 for 3. He now has 8 hits in the series, more than any other player. Had an infield hit in the first inning and scored the first St. Louis run. Fly to Yastrzemski and left in the second, and doubled in the fourth. A ground rule double. He would have had certainly 3, but the ball was touched by a fan out there in the bleachers in right center. Pitch hit on the ground to Petrocelli. Flips over to Adair for 1. Back to first. Safe at first base. Brock is, you can well imagine, a very difficult man to double up. And they couldn't pull it off that time. As Gibson is scored 6-4, Petrocelli to Adair, and Brock reaches on the fielder's choice. So there are 2 men out and a runner at first. Lou Brock has grounded into only 21 double plays in 5 years in the majors. Here's Flood. The fans want Brock to go. Moorhead set. He's going to pitch, throw down to second base, and he is safe. A close play, but safe at second base. Brock has stolen for the 3rd time in the 1967 World Series. The pitch was a ball to Curt Flood.
He pitched a real good pitch to Steele. You and I have been talking about that overhand curveball of Moorhead, and that was the pitch he took off on. And of course, that's a much better pitch to Steele on that good fastball. It takes a little bit longer to get up there. It didn't take long for Brock to get down to second.
Well, he certainly gets off to a tremendous start. Mike Ryan has a good throwing arm and has thrown out such men as Bert Campaneris over in the American League. Among the great speedsters the American League features. Here's the set and pitch. Strike called on the outside corner at the knees. The count is 1-1. Flood, after getting a solid single to left in the first inning, popped up to Scott at first base in the second, grounded to second base in the fourth. The pitch. Flood hits a ground ball to short. Petrocelli in and up with it. Throws to first base in time, and they get him. Flood is out, short to first, and in the 6th inning, there were no runs, no hits, and 1 man is left on. At the end of 6, the Cardinals 6 and the Red Sox nothing. For Boston in the 7th, the Red Sox trailed the Cardinals by a score of 6-0. Scott struck out in the first inning and singled to left field in the fourth. Hits a ground ball on 1 hop to Maxwell at short. Throws to Cepeda for the out. 1 down on the Boston 7th inning. Scott had more luck than anybody with Gibson in Boston. He had a pair of hits off Bob. And now Reggie Smith is coming up. Smith has grounded out to second and bounced out to the first baseman Cepeda unassisted. Tim McCarver catching. Cepeda at first, Javier at second, Maxwell at shortstop, and Shannon at third. Brock is in left, Flood in center, and Maris in right. Smith getting set. Switch hitting center fielder of the Red Sox up there left-handed. Gibson kicks and throws low for a ball. Gibson allowed 6 hits in the opener in Boston. Pitch is low and inside. Ball 2. 2 balls and no strikes to count. Smith gets it low. Ball 3. Gibson has a World Series record for a pitcher. Most strikeouts in one series. He fanned 31 Yankees in 1964. The 3-0 pitch. Smith gets a walk. And that is the first walk that Gibson has given up today. Only the second he has given up in this World Series. And in the first game, he went to the ninth inning with 2 outs before he walked anybody. 1 out and 1 on. The batter is Jerry Adair, the second baseman. And now Dal Maxwell, the Cardinals shortstop, comes in, wants to talk things over for a moment with Bob Gibson. We have some scores for you. Green Bay and Detroit are tied 10-10 at the end of the third quarter. Dallas and Washington 7-7 in the third period. New Orleans and New York 14 apiece at halftime. The pitch is ball 1 to Jerry Adair. Minnesota 14, St. Louis 3 in the second quarter. Adair hits a high pop foul off the first base side. McCarver over. He's got it. The fader was close to him, but Tim made the grab. Adair fouls out to the catcher. 2 men out. A runner at first base in the Boston 7. St. Louis with a 6-0 lead. Rico Petrocelli at the plate has been called out on strikes and grounded out to short. Tomorrow, Jim Lonborg goes against Steve Carlton. On deck for Boston, Seaburn. This is foul back out of play. Strike 1. One strike on Petrocelli. Reggie Smith on first base. The pitch swung on and missed. Strike 2. Moorhead was in the 8th spot in the batting order when he went in to pitch, so he would be due next, and Seaburn is on deck. The set by Gibson, and the pitch. Check swing foul ball off the first base side into the lower stand. 2 strikes. Still cloudy, still cool here at Busch Memorial Stadium with a temperature in the mid-50s. It's supposed to be cloudy, but maybe a little bit warmer tomorrow. Gibson ready. The pitch. Check swing pop-up. Gibson makes the catch near the foul line off first. Halfway between first and home, he went over like a cat to grab the ball. A nice play by the Cardinal pitcher. And that's all in the 7th for Boston. No runs, no hits, and 1 man left on. And so, after 6 1/2, St. Louis leads 6-0. Involving Atlanta and Houston. The 1-2 pitch, curve away, 2-2.
Yeah, Ken, the Braves traded Denny LeMaster, left-handed pitcher, and the shortstop Dennis Menke to Houston for Sonny Jackson at shortstop, and the first baseman named Chuck Harrison. That's probably the first trade of the year.
Yes, I would think. 2 balls, 2 strikes to count. Moorhead getting the mound or the front of it fixed to his liking. 1 man out in the last of the 7th. Cepeda hits a fly ball into left center field. Reggie Smith drifting to his right makes the catch for the out. 2 men out in the 7th for St. Louis. Cardinals ahead by a score of 6-0 in a game that's been dominated by Cardinal right-hander Bob Gibson and early foot by the Cardinals at the plate. The batter is the catcher Tim McCarver. Left-handed hitter has singled to right and scored a run. Hit a sacrifice fly and struck out. Takes the breaking ball over for a strike call. McCarver has driven in a pair of runs also. 1 in the first and 1 in the third. Moorhead throws outside for a ball, 1-1. Moorhead is from San Diego, California. Handsome right-hander who had quite a story in coming back to the Red Sox this year after having a lame arm most of last season and early this year. Pitches inside, 2 balls, 1 strike. is inside for the ball, 3-1. In 1965, Moorhead pitched a no-hit game against Cleveland on the 16th of September. The 3-1 delivery. High pop-up going into shallow left center field. Petrocelli back, and he's got it to retire the side. In the 7th, no runs, no hits, and nobody left on. After 7 innings of play, it's St. Louis 6 and Boston nothing. Job of pitching for Boston. Seaburn up there at the plate. Ryan is on deck, and Tartabull is due third. The Red Sox have 3 singles in this ball game by Tartabull, Yastrzemski, and Scott. Gibson has struck out 5 and walked only 1. Seaburn is a native of St. Louis, as is Elston Howard of the Red Sox, and Dick Williams, who lived here the first 13 years of his life. And, of course, Norm, like Howard, is a veteran of World Series competition. In the 3rd period, New Orleans 21, the New York Giants 20 in pro football, and Green Bay is leading Detroit 20-10 in the 4th period. Seaburn, a left-handed batter, facing Gibson. Pitch to him is low, ball 1. Young 19-year-old Ken Brett is warming up in the Boston bullpen. Pitch is outside, ball 2. Gibson takes a deep breath on the mound, right-hander into action in the pitch. Seaburn gets a fastball in for a strike call, 2-1. There's a high fly ball into center field, and Kurt Flood is under it. He's got it for our number 1. Seaburn flies to center. There's 1 out in the Boston 8th. And the batter is Mike Ryan, who came up in the 6th inning after going into the game with Moorhead as a new battery, and Mike struck out in the 6th. Pitch is foul back, strike 1. The outfield plays this right-handed batter a bit toward right field. Gibson throws a curve in for a strike call. 2 strikes on Mike Ryan. Dave Moorhead went 3 innings and allowed no runs, no hits. Walked 1 and struck out 2. There's a fly ball into short center field. Flood comes in and makes the catch. He did that twice yesterday and has done it again today. He has a great knack of getting a jump on the ball. Looked for a moment like it might drop in, but Flood, with an extra burst of speed, comes in and makes the catch to retire Ryan. And there are 2 men out in the Red Sox 8th inning. And the batter is the leadoff man, José Tartabull. Gibson throws a fastball high and away, ball 1. Tartabull has grounded out the first twice and had an infield hit. The pitch, Bob takes a little off, it's ball 2. The pitch is low. Oh, it's a strike right at the knees. 2-1. 2 balls and 1 strike to count. Augie Donatelli of the National League calling the balls and strikes. The pitch is foul back. 2-2. Gibson, who a couple of times in the game slowed his pace just a little, now working very fast again and looking just as strong as he did in the early innings. The 2-2 pitch. Inside, 3-2 on Tartabull. Ed Runge, the umpire at first, Paul Pryor at second, John Stevens at third, Frank Umont in right, Al Bonnick in left field. 3-2 on Tartabull. Gibson throws. There's a line shot through the middle into center field for a base hit. Right past Gibson's head. Bob got his glove up and tried to make a play on it, but could not. And Carnival has his second hit in the ball game and the fourth for the Red Sox with 2 men out in the 8th. The Cardinals have a 6-0 lead as Dalton Jones moves in. Left-handed batting third baseman has grounded to the pitcher and twice fly to left field. Gibson throws high for a ball. 3 times now, the Red Sox have had singles after 2 are out in this ball game. Once they had a hit after only 1 out. So Gibson has really not been in any kind of trouble. Pitch is low for a ball. Nobody has reached second against Gibson. 2 balls, no strikes. Pitch is a strike call, 2-1. Bob has struck out 5. He has walked 1. There is all 3 balls, 1 strike. Cardinals 6 and the Red Sox nothing. This is the 8th inning. Cardinals lead in the World Series 2 games to 1. The pitch. Line drive to right field. Maris flips, but missed the catch. Fine play by the Cardinal right fielder on a hard line drive that appeared to handcuff him. He flipped just a bit, but kept his footing enough to make the play, and the Red Sox are down in the 8th. No runs, 1 hit, 1 man is left on. After 7 1/2, St. Louis 6 and Boston nothing.
Well, going to the bottom half of the 8th inning, we have a new pitcher for the Boston Red Sox, and I can imagine, I'm sure the kid will agree with me, we have a boy out there now by the name of Ken Brett. He's 18 years old, and I would believe that he could be just a little bit nervous.
Well, Pee-wee, he's quite a boy, I'll tell you. He's just, as a matter of fact, turned 19 a couple of weeks ago. He's a hard-throwing left-hander. He's out of California. And the Red Sox signed him again ahead of the great pitcher of the Cincinnati Reds, Gary Nolan. He's had 2 innings of Major League experience. Here's the first pitch thrown into Shannon, and it is outside ball 1.
It looks like his fastball kind of tails away from a right-handed hitter.
That's the way they say it works most of the time. Ken throws, and this one is low, ball 2. Quite an experience for this young fellow to be pitching at the age of 19 in a World Series. Just a year away from high school. Here's the 2-0 pitch. Shannon fouls it back out of play. Mike today is 0 for 2. He fouled to Petrocelli, walked, and grounded out to third. I'll tell you what, though, Pee-wee, I did a dugout interview show with Ken Brett the first day he came up to the majors, and it was the first time he'd ever been on a radio program, and he ate a candy bar all through the show. So he doesn't, well, he's got the cool, as people his age say. Pitch is outside, ball 3.
Looks to me like he's throwing pretty free and easy out there. Maybe I'll have to retract that statement. Maybe he is nervous.
He said his knee shook a little that first time up. 3 balls and 1 strike to count on Shannon. Javier on deck. Last of the 8th. Brett delivers. Foul ball out of play to right field going into the upper stand. And now it is raining. It has started to rain fairly hard, and down below, fans are scampering to its cover. 3 balls, 2 strikes. The pitch. Shannon popped it up in foul territory off third. Ryan and Jones over. Mike Ryan makes the catch. Shannon fouls to the catcher, Mike Ryan. 1 out in the 8th inning. So it's been cloudy and cool all day. We've had a threat of rain here for a couple of days, and now we are getting it. The Cardinals lead by a score of 6-0. Incidentally, Alan Roth, our statistician, tells us there has never been a World Series game that has gone less than 9 innings. They've always gotten through all of them. Javier at the plate. Pitch to him is swung on and missed, strike one. Julian has a single and a double and has been called out on strikes. One away in the eighth. The pitch, fastball, swung on and missed, strike two. Dave Moorhead pitched brilliantly for Boston today, and Gary Bell in relief, the man who started yesterday, also pitched very well. Brett throws, and he gets him with a breaking pitch around the knees. So he's gotten the first two men here in the eighth, striking out Julian Javier. And with two out and nobody aboard, the batter is Dal Maxfield. St. Louis 6 and Boston nothing. 6-9-0 for the Cardinals. 0-4-0 for Boston. The pitch to Maxfield is low, ball one. Dal has singled the left, grounded to short, bounced out the third. Ken Brett gets the sign from Ryan. Youthful left-hander throws, and it's carved foul off the first base side out of play. 1-1. Brett delivers, and this one gets by. Ball two and strike one. Cardinals leading 6-0. Only three times in the history of the World Series has a team been down 3-1 and come on to win it all. Pitch is a ball, 3-1. It happened in 1903, Boston over Pittsburgh. In 1925, Pittsburgh over Washington. And in 1958, New York over Milwaukee. 3-1 pitch, low and outside. Maxfield gets a walk. With two out of the eighth inning, Brett walks Maxfield. And the batter will be Bob Gibson. The Cardinal pitcher getting a very fine hand, which is well earned as he pitched another great ball game in the World Series today. He slide to left, slide to center, and walked. Brett throws to him. He swings and misses, strike one. Young left-hander of the Red Sox gets the sign from Ryan. Looks toward first. Throws. Gibson takes it high. 1 ball, 1 strike. Brett is a fine all-around athlete. He's also a very good hitter and could play several positions. 1-1 pitch. Grounded toward Petrocelli. Off to his right and with it. Over to second for the fourth play. Retiring the side. The Cardinals are out of the eighth inning. No runs, no hits. One man is left on. At the end of eight, St. Louis 6 and Boston nothing. To short. It's a line drive into right center field. Maris going hard, can't get it. It's to the wall. Yastrzemski going into second base, standing with a double. Now Yastrzemski doubles to right field to open the Boston ninth inning. Red Sox trailing 6-0, and the batter is going to be George Scott. Scott has struck out, singled to left, and grounded out to shortstop. The rain coming down harder now. Bob Gibson ready. The pitch. High fly ball to right field. Maris ready. Makes the catch. Yaz tags up. Is heading for third base. The long throw is not in time. Safe at third. George Scott flies to right field, and after the catch, Carl Yastrzemski moves to third. A man at third base, and 1 out here in the ninth inning. Cardinals with a 6-0 lead. The Cardinals got 4 in the first and 2 in the third, and that's been the story on the scoreboard today. Reggie Smith is 0 for 2. He's grounded to second, bounced to first, and walked. Fouls one back in the street. Gibson into the windup and the pitch. Smith takes it up high. One ball and one strike. One away. Bob Gibson has one out in the ninth with Yastrzemski at third for Boston. Cardinal right-hander winds and throws. The pitch is fouled back to the screen, 1-2. McCarver hangs out his side. The Cardinal right-hander shakes it off. Now he's ready to wind up and pitch. Breaking ball over for a strike call. And Reggie Smith protests to the plate umpire, Augie Donatelli, before going back to the bench. So that is strikeout number 6 for Gibson. And now there are 2 men out in the Boston ninth inning. The Cardinals have a 6-0 lead. Here's the windup and the pitch to Adair. Ground ball off Gibson, out to Javier. Throw to first base. It's over. As Bob Gibson shuts out Boston with another brilliant performance here this afternoon. In the ninth, no runs, 1 hit, and 1 man left on. And the final score was St. Louis 6 and the Red Sox nothing. We'll be back in just a moment with a resume of today's game. Beating the Red Sox 6-0. Momentarily, we'll be going down to Tony Kubek on the field, and he'll be talking with Lou Brock, who has played brilliantly for St. Louis in this series. And now, let's go down to Tony Kubek. He is down there. Let's go down right now.
Thank you, Kirk Gowdy and Lou. You're having a very fine series, and of course, you came in it off a very fine year. How do you feel about going in the World Series, performing so well?
Well, actually, Tony, going into the World Series, I guess this is what you play for year long, and of course, to get in the World Series is a thrill itself. And I've gotten off to a good start, and Tony, I feel very delighted about it.
Actually, if there's something like a game plan going into a ball game, they would have to say the Red Sox that keeping you off base was their game plan, and of course, I think yours has been to keep Yastrzemski, and it's worked just that way. Yaz has a big day up in Boston. They beat you, but you've had a couple of good days, and you've beaten them. So how has Yastrzemski impressed you as a ball player?
Well, Tony, I've seen Yastrzemski out in Arizona when he trained out west, and he's a complete ball player, and he's a tremendous hitter. However, we have tremendous hitters in our league, too, and of course, anybody can be pitched to, and our game plan has been going pretty good against Carl. And of course, this is all I can say, that we have a lot of luck with him so far.
Lou, what about your own game plan now? To get on base, just try and steal a base, and this you've done so well. And what about the ball you hit back in the first inning? Which, if there was a turning point, it was the very first ball. Hit down the third base to Jones. The ball took a little bit of a bad hop. I don't know if he'd have gotten you anyway.
Well, Tony, he was playing rather deep. Unusually for a third baseman, and of course, I picked the bunt down the third base line, and he didn't move in. And of course, I was trying to get him in because the guy, Santiago, had a good sinker ball, and of course, the next pitch was a good sinker ball that hit off the end of my bat, and I was glad he didn't come in.
What about the World Series going back to Boston? Do you think you'll end right here tomorrow with Carlton, or do you think you're going back to Boston?
Well, I don't know, Tony. We're going to give it all we got. I think there's quite a few guys on the ball club who feel as though they want to end it here, so there's going to be a little extra tomorrow, and I hope that we can end it here.
Lou, you've had yourself a fine series, and of course your speed has told a big story for the Cardinal Ball Club. What about Bob Gibson? He's been just sensational for you, hasn't he, in the 2 ball games?
This is it. Bob is practically unbeatable. Anytime Bob plays 3 games, we can count on him winning 2. And so far he's won 2. If he does a third game to be pitched, I think Bob's going to do a good job in that one, Tony.
All right, you've got Jim Lonborg coming up tomorrow in the ball game versus Steve Carlton, a fine left-hander. What are you personally going to try and do differently against Jim Lonborg in tomorrow's ball game?
Well, I would try to get on base, Tony. As you know, the first game, Jim pitched. I wasn't able to get on base. Hit the ball sharp a few times. But I won't change any game plan. Matter of fact, I don't have any game plan. I just go up there swinging.
Lou Brock, thank you so much. Congratulations. Best of luck to you tomorrow. The rest of the series, should there be a 6th and 7th game. Now back to Kirk Gowdy.
Bob
Gibson. Sandy Colfax, tell me something about Bob Gibson and Ken Coleman. I don't think I can tell you anything about him. You watch him pitch, you look at the scoreboard, and you know all about him. He doesn't beat himself. I think that's the biggest thing about Bob. He's a great pitcher. He's got great stuff, but you're going to have to beat him. He's not going to help. He's not going to walk many hitters. He's not going to give in to the hitters. He's not going to make too many bad pitches. He's a great fielding pitcher. He does everything that you have to do out there, plus the fact that he's one of the great competitors, I think, in baseball. And, I say, no ball game is fun, but the ball games you pitch against a guy like that, if you happen to beat him, you take special pride in a ball game like that, and if he beats you, and you can't feel too bad about it. You just hope you're a little above 500 against a guy like that. Well, I would say that's a pretty good description of Bob Gibson. I know Sandy has seen him quite a few times, and the one thing that Sandy said, Ken, that really impresses me, this fella really challenges. He does not walk you. He makes you hit the ball, and I don't think it makes any difference to him. Would it be Babe Ruth, Carl Yastrzemski, who's up there? He's going to bring that ball in that strike zone.
That's for sure. Now to review the scoring for anyone who tuned in late. In the first inning of the ball game, Lou Brock led off with an infield single. Kurt Flood followed with a single to left field, and with runners at first and second, Roger Maris doubled to left to drive in the first two runs. Cepeda flied to right, and Maris went to third after the catch. McCarver singled to right to score Roger Maris. Then McCarver went to second base on a single by Julian Javier and scored on a single by Dal Maxfield. And they wound up with 4 runs on 6 base hits in the first inning. They added 2 more in the third when Cepeda led off with a double. He went to third on a wild pitch and scored on McCarver's sacrifice fly. Shannon walked, and then Javier banged out a double to send Mike home with a 6th run. And that was it as far as the scoring was concerned, as the Cardinals won it 6-0. Now, from the Boston point of view, their situation is this. They are down 3 games to 1 in this World Series, and only 3 times in the history of the Classic has a team been able to come back and overcome that kind of a deficit. It happened in 1903 when Boston defeated Pittsburgh, and that was an 8-game series, by the way. Boston won 5 games over to 3. In 1925, Pittsburgh did it over Washington. In 1958, the New York Yankees did it over Milwaukee. So that is the story on what faces the Red Sox as they tomorrow will send Jim Lonborg against Steve Carlton. We'll give you the complete rundown right after this message.